Federal workers' compensation question of the day is, how do I file for mileage reimbursement? The Department of Labor pays injured workers for mileage reimbursement to and from appointments that are part of their workers' compensation case, and certainly for any appointment that is scheduled by the Department of Labor Office of Workers' Compensation Programs. If they schedule you to go there, you're entitled to get mileage. You get your mileage in a reimbursement form that you fill out and submit to the claims examiner, and presumably they pay you. But there are limitations. So for example, if your regular mileage to a doctor's appointment exceeds 100 miles, 50 miles each way, you're gonna run into a hard time. They think it should be less than 100 miles. If there's a special reason for more, you're gonna have to state that. Understand that every mileage reimbursement these days is probably double checked by a MapQuest. So if an individual says they traveled X number of miles to and from their doctor, somebody's gonna double check that, and it must be scrupulously honest. But let me talk about mileage reimbursement for a moment. We get lots of requests for people whose mileage reimbursement isn't as they think it should be. And then inquiry is made to the Department of Labor about mileage reimbursement. But what happens in reality is that every time the claims examiner has a chance to look at the injured worker's file, they can analyze what is taking place. And we have in our practice something we call the law of unintended consequences. You know, Murphy's Law is if something can go wrong, it will go wrong. The law of unintended consequences says, although you set out to accomplish one goal, oftentimes something else occurs. And it's not something that you thought or anticipated. And we've had many, many instances where an inquiry regarding mileage reimbursement results in a new analysis of the file, and oftentimes finding that something has been done wrong, and invariably it results in an overpayment to the injured worker. So the injured worker puts in for their $40 of mileage reimbursement, and the claims examiner discovers they've been paying you at the wrong rate, and now you have a $4,000 overpayment. So we tell people with mileage reimbursement, be careful what you wish for, and make sure that you're in a circumstance where if somebody analyzes your file, it's not going to come back and bite you. Now, I know that many people find that hard to stomach. They're saying, but I earned those miles and I get those miles. And my answer is, you're absolutely right. But remember, every time you ask, they get to reopen the file and look at whatever they